business.
But let's move on to our main subject too. About 4,000 workers in the petroleum sector, they're likely to lose their jobs within the next few months if government fails to stop the illegal sale of petroleum products in the country, that is. Well, this is a caution from the Association of Oil Marketing Companies. The association currently explains that the illegal trade, which has been perpetrated for years now, has also led to a massive drop in profit, aside the difficulty in repaying debt owed banks, especially over the last year. So we want to have a conversation with the Chief Executive for the Association of Oil Marketing Companies, and Kweku Ajimendua is joining us through a feed. And we would want to ask him, good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, Orelan. How are you?
I'm fine. It's been a while. Are your offices still located in Laboni?
It's been a while, it is. Yes, right now we are in Gimpa now.
Oh, great. You've moved on. A lot of money coming into the coffers.
Yes. Not exactly.
Well, we're privileged to have you on stream, and we know that we're going to have great conversation. I grew up in a community called Ashaiman. And for particularly what you're talking about, I don't know whether it's the same, or we can perhaps say that it's the same. What we call in Ashaiman is bili-bili, where we have the illegal siphoning of oil from tankers and pipelines, etc. Is it the same thing you're talking about for the oil marketing companies?
I think that what you're talking about is an advanced type. It's an upgrade of what it used to be at Ashaiman. I mean, that Ashaiman used to be a petty one. Now this one is a grand scheme which has been contemplated and is being done in a way which really make the government lose and makes our business also look very bad.
But then, if it is grand, in what form is it then? How grand is it?
Well, what is happening is that we have people who are purporting to be exporting products to Burkina Faso, Niger, only turn them around. You know, when you are exporting products, you have little taxes on them, then the main taxes are waived off until you get to your destination. That's your final destination. But it turns out that these products find themselves back into the country, and they are sold cheaper than what is normally sold at the stations, which has all the tax components in them. Then secondly, we have people who also bring in products either through the main ports, all times or regular times, or pass through unapproved routes on the sea. And they put them in the form of boats and canoes, and they bring it onshore and sell them at a cheaper rate because they are not going to pay the taxes.
Is it the same form?
So, and they find their way into lorry stations, tabletops, and they're being sold to people, you know, at a rather cheaper rate. Yeah.
So then, if that is the type of trade, does it mean that we have cartels doing this? And in what form are they doing this?
Yeah, you know, I mean, that's the word. There's a real grand scheme being done. And you know, since last year, beginning of the year, we saw an imperceptible marketing of petroleum products when we began. And we're monitoring it closely. Somewhere in September, we realized it was peaking. So we started having discussions with our regulator and heightening our regulator what is happening. Around the election time, it went down, and we thought that was the end. But come February this year, it has brought its ugly head up, and it's like it's beyond really unimaginable proportion. And we realize that if we don't do anything about it, what is going to happen? The government is going to lose a lot of revenue, and on our side, we are going to lose our jobs.
How are the oil marketing companies losing then?
Tell me once again, Aurela.
How are the oil marketing companies losing then?
What is happening, you know, we live on volumes. The volume of sales generates our revenue. And once we don't have the revenue stream coming in, it means we cannot really fulfill our obligations. I.e., we cannot pay our taxes on time, we cannot pay our interest on our loans, can't service our loans on time. We cannot even pay our employees, and let alone taking care of utilities. So we realize that we are really in a quagmire. You know, if we don't do anything about it, all that you will see is a demise of the AOMCs.
But we have many oil marketing companies, and many of them also as part of your association. How first do you think we can we tackle this? First, from the point of view of you, an industry association, and also on the part of the regulators and government as a whole.
For us as oil operators, I mean, we could provide the leads, you know, to some of these things for the security and the regulator to work on, and we are equally ready, because, you know, when we see the fuel outside, we can easily determine, you know, the fuel coming into the country right now, those what we are selling out there are marked products. That is, we have a neutral marker which is added to the product so that it's customer. You know that this is the product which has gone through the country. And what happens is that when these are mixed with external product which has not been marked, then they become diluted. So we can give leads to the security agencies as well as the regulators so that they can hamp on these people. And that's what we have been doing. But right now, where we are now, it has become so big thing that we need the government to support that.
In what way can the government support?
You know, the president has got all the ministers, all the might, all the mandates, he's got all the resources, the tools, the instruments to be able to clamp down on such kind of thing. And you know, Roland, we are not talking about just our business running down. This is a security issue. These people, it tends to become a money laundering syndicate. And it gets to a stage where these people will finance the terrorists, and that put the security of the country in jeopardy. Besides, the people who are going to lose their jobs, where would they get jobs? We already have a precarious situation where unemployment is so high, and if at the end of this month we are going to add 4,000 to it, heaven knows what we are going to end at the end of the year. So it's something that we believe is apart from being a taxes issue, it's a security issue that we think the government should use all its might to be able to tackle this.
But if we have to tackle this problem, then also on the part of the oil marketing companies, how are you forming that tight-knit agency or association in such a way that you'll be able to punch some of the loopholes or perhaps iron out some of these loopholes in the industry?
Yeah, to begin with, we have even signaled to all our members that if woe betides anybody who is involved in this one, we'll smoke the fellow out. We'll give the fellow out for him to face the prosecution. And we have warned all our members, and we are keeping an eye on so many things, because we can't allow one person. It took one person to save the Christians, and it takes another person to destroy. So we want to make sure that anybody who is involved in that, will give the fellow out, will name and shame the fellow. And on the other side, we know it's a multifaceted thing. It's not only the operators. There are people who are even laymen who are involved, people and professionals who are involved, and that's why we ask the support of the president and the allied people to be able to help us to go through this.
Now, in the publications from the press day yesterday, you are quoted as saying that the low tax and subsequent diversion, that these oil marketing companies are suffering as a result of siphoning of fuel gotten illegally, but also more so the ones that they don't pay the taxes on, and so they sell below cut price. Is that the case? Where do they do these things, and in what ways do they do them beyond the tabletops that we all say physically? Because those are large, small quantities, I mean.
Yes. Yeah, you know, it's not small quantities, Roland. You know, if you have the nation losing about 9% of the total volume of petrol and losing 11% of diesel, is huge quantities. These are industry, if we talk about even 0.05% of the total volume, is huge, let alone 9% and 11% respectively for petrol and diesel. So it's quite huge. And, you know, as it stands, even in February alone, we lost 19% of the total volume. So you could see it's escalating. And that's what, if we don't put it, we don't nip it in the bud, what is going to happen is that it's going to creep to 20%, 50%, and eventually all the products that will come in the country will not have to pay any taxes. And that's where the fear is.
And if we have to take a holistic view about it, how did you come by the figure 9% and subsequent living over the last 2 months? You said 19%.
Oh, okay. 9%, 11% was the difference between 2015 and 2016. Between 2015 and 2016, we have 9% and a decrease. Then we have 11% decrease in respect of diesel. For the 19%, it's only February alone, February 2017. Yes, and normally we don't really have, for instance, if you ask me figures for April, I won't get it for you. You have to do reconciliation to be able to firm that one up. But February had been authenticated, and February was 19%. So if we're going on that trajectory, then obviously we are going to lose massively at the end of the year. And that's what was a clear-cut indication that the issue at stake had not subsided, and we need to really work hard at it. And that's what we are trying to get all and sundry, the media, the public, the government, and all of us have to put our hand on it. Otherwise, we'll have another galamsey that we have to tackle, like the way this one has gone to monstrous proportions.
Well, we have to thank you for this conversation. And Mr. Yaw Agyeman-Duah is the CEO of the Association of Oil Marketing Companies.
Kweku Agyeman-Duah, please.
Oh, sorry.
Kweku Agyeman-Duah.
Mr. Kweku Agyeman-Duah. And you are the CEO of the Association of Oil Marketing.
Next time, Roland, I'll change your name.
Yes, I'll be very much displeased, and you should be displeased with me. I apologize, sir. I'll come looking for you, though. It's been a while, so we have great conversation on many subjects. But we've been talking about loss of revenue, but especially several diversions that have been made over the last couple of years in the oil industry, resulting in loss of revenue not only to the state, but these oil marketing companies as a result of cutbacks in taxation as well as tax payments by miscreants who siphon fuel or trade in fuel illegally, either across the borders by diverting what they have to in terms of transport as well as pay taxes on. So we'll have a lot more updates, I'm sure, in subsequent days. And that is our wrap for EM Business this morning. And we have to thank Mr. Kweku Agyeman-Duah for that great conversation.
EM Business.